Hey guys, Josh here with another update. I am currently sitting not in the city that we've been working in, but in one of the nearby cities that wasn't as affected by the earthquake. The city's Kayseri. They actually did have a couple buildings that apparently were damaged or collapsed from the earthquake, but the vast majority of them have turned out fine. So the city's still functioning quite well. I'm just here doing some administration, catching up on various like messages and administration and financial stuff that needs to be done, and also helping coordinate some of the other work that we're doing that I'll explain about in a little bit here. But first, just wanted to say thank you all again for continuing to support and send donations and pray for us. This has been a crazy 9 days since the earthquake happened. And a crazy 7 days since we made our way down to this area to try and help. It has been kind of really, obviously so devastating and like just insane. But there's also been like some really cool things to be hopeful for in all of it. So many people from all over the world, so many countries from all over the world have been sending support to Turkey to try and help. And one of the things has been like countries that are actively at war with each other have come to Turkey to help side by side to save lives and to help walk Turkey through some of the things that have been going on. And so that's like that's been really hope-giving and really cool. And the other thing is right now it's just over 200 hours since the first earthquake hit, and there are still some people coming out alive. Still some people being dug out of the rubble and like coming out alive, which is insane. There's not a lot left. There's the local news keeps covering it, and there's few enough coming out that they're able to say people by name. This person's coming out. This person's coming out. But there's still people who are being rescued, which is mind-blowing. There's the movie, is it 100 hours, 120 hours or something like that, of a guy like stuck for that amount of time and eventually gets free. These guys have been stuck here for 200 hours and are still coming out alive, which is mind-blowing to me. On the other side of the scale, there's still a lot of hurt and a lot of devastation and a lot of craziness going on. There has continued to be earthquakes in the area. When the first earthquake hit, it like started the tectonic plates sliding, but those plates have been continuing to slide since then, to the point where it's about 40 earthquakes per hour is what the one news thing I saw said, where like these plates keep sliding and there keeps being earthquakes. I've actually felt like one or two of them here while I've been like working, and as we've been working with some of the people who have gone through this and have seen their homes collapse and their neighbors die from their buildings collapsing, these like aftershocks and stuff have been terrifying, like have caused panic attacks for people who have been feeling them, and it has also been endangering the teams that have been continuing to do the work and stuff, because there's possibility of more buildings collapsing as these earthquakes keep happening. The other thing that's been crazy is, I opened the news yesterday for one of the first times in a while, because I've been so focusing on the city we've been focusing on, and I opened international news, which was like I opened the app that I've been using to follow the stuff going on in Turkey, and Turkey wasn't on the news anymore, which was just shocking to me. Like, much of the world has started to move on from this thing, but we've spent the last 200 hours thinking of nothing but how can we help these people who are going through this, and we're going to continue thinking about that for a while still. But much of the world has moved on from that, which is mind-blowing. Like I said, I've been primarily focusing on this one city and like the area around it that we've been in. But I recently got a chance to watch local news and catch up on other things in the region, and it was devastating to me seeing like other cities around that were affected. There's 10 total provinces that have been affected, with 13 million people affected across that, and seeing cities that I've traveled to, cities where I have friends, and cities where I've visited and lived, lying in ruins now. It's just crazy. Turkey's been the Turkish people are like some of the most hospitable people that I've ever met, and Turkey as a country has hosted some of the most refugees of any country around the world for like much of the last decade, possibly before that as well, like millions from a bunch of different countries around the world. And then in a moment on February 6th at 4:17 a.m., Turkey went from being one of the world's most generous hosts of refugees to being one of the countries most in need of rehousing displaced people and most like the source of refugees, which is utterly insane to me. In a matter of seconds, more people were displaced in these earthquakes, or in the first earthquake, than many wars. Like, that's insane to me. So quick, more like specific update about some of the stuff that we're doing. We're continuing to send buses when people are ready to get out of the city that we're working in. More bodies continue to be dug out of the rubble, and so more funerals are continuing to happen, and so more people are ready to go. And as that happens, we are continuing to send buses to get them out. We have 2 buses on the road right now filled with people who are leaving the city and going to other places in the city. And we have more buses that will continue to go daily for the next while until either the need subsides or we run out of money, or until we don't have volunteers to run this whole process. One of the challenges that we've come across is that basically that of distance. One of the cities that is the best for people to get to is over 1,000 kilometers away. And so trying to figure out how to coordinate that and make that happen, especially when other people want to go to other cities that might be closer or other cities that might be farther. Trying to figure that out has been one of the challenges we've been working through. And then another piece of that is that some people want to stay. So many people in this area, they're either farmers whose families have lived in these places for generations, or they just simply have nowhere to go and think that probably where they are is probably the best option going forward. And yeah, many people just don't want to leave the place that their family has called home for generations, which is really understandable. So in response to that, with the network that I'm connected with, there's 2 couples from our church who are moving into the area and will be helping nearby villages for the next few months. They're bringing in temporary housing and temporary storage for like food and goods and that kind of thing. And they'll be living there and serving about 100 families in the area that are still planning on staying in the area. And so they're just moving in for the next few months to help out. And so I've been working with them, coordinating to help them get the containers they need to be able to store stuff and temporary housing and all of that. I also got to talk with the pastor in the city, and I asked him, hey, are you thinking of leaving or what? And he said, no, I'm not going to leave. As long as God gives me breath, I want to continue to love and serve the people in this city, which was just so cool and inspiring to me. So yeah, that's kind of a bit of an update of where we've been at the last little while. The plan going forward, yeah, Turkey's going to continue hurting for a while. The current death toll, last I looked, is 38,000 people, which would be like the equivalent of if everyone in Moose Jaw or everyone in Prince Albert just suddenly died. And then a few thousand people on top of that died afterwards as well. That's what we're talking about right now. And the fact is that number is going to continue to grow for probably a while still. A lot of the rescue efforts have been looking for people who survived in rubble. There's really amazing technology that they use, like sonic stuff to listen for if people are breathing, or if they can like sense a heart rate in rubble, or there's like heat sensors and stuff that they're using to search for like survivors. But as stuff starts to like continue on afterwards, and as the rubble gets picked through, that number is going to continue to grow, and tons of people have been injured from this as well. Along with that, like in this whole area, there's about 13 million people who have been affected, which, if you think about that, that's like the equivalent of 10 entire Saskatchewan's worth of population. And a majority of those are now homeless and in need of places to stay. there's been some really amazing response from a lot of the big organizations, the governmental organizations, and aid teams that have been sent in. I've been connected with people in some of the bigger cities that have been deploying aid and researching like what's going to be needed going forward. And what's been said is, like the deployment of resources in these areas has been really awesome. But a lot of this, like because this is such a big area, something like 200,000 square kilometers, a lot of the smaller places haven't been haven't had resources able to get to them because the most densely populated areas have been taken more care of. So we're going to try and do our best to continue to help in whatever places there's need, and whatever places aren't able to be looked at as closely or as carefully. So long term, a lot of these people are going to be living in camps for months or trying to find places to be able to live. But specifically regarding the camps thing, the network that we're connected with has been asked to help with rolling out sanitation and like emergency toilets and that kind of thing in some of the camps in like near a few of the cities where the earthquake hit. So I'm in conversations with some of those, trying to figure out what can be done in that regard, and we're going forward on some ideas. But the other side of it is, because I and some of the other crew that I'm with left so quickly and with so little information, we're not actually set up well right now to be able to help do this kind of thing long term. So tonight, actually, I'm going to grab a bus and go back to my home and be there for a few days to like kind of get things in order before coming out here again to be able to help with more stuff in the future. So looking forward to the next little bit. A lot of these places are going to need toilets and water filtration, and as global aid starts to dry up, as the world forgets what happened 9 days ago, or as many have already forgotten, there's going to need to be like food for these camps figured out, and various other elements along that line. So we're going to continue working with all the networks and government people and police people that we need to be able to continue to help. And currently, like I said, we have this bus process continuing to go until it's needed, or until it's done. We're continuing to work with regional bus companies and some local police officers and local Turkish volunteers to help people get out of the city. We now have it set up. It took a few days to get this figured out, but we now have it set up so that anyone who wants to leave the city that we're working in, we can get them anywhere in the country through harnessing the local bus systems that are continuing to function outside of the earthquake zone. So we're shipping them out, and then we're getting them tickets to go wherever else in the country that they need to go. And now that we have a bit better of a system figured out, we know more specifically how much it's going to cost to get someone from one place to another in the country. And we figured out that for $45, we can get someone from the city that we're in to anywhere in the country, even down 1,000 kilometers away, and get them to warmth and food and shelter and safety and whatever medical resources are available in other cities. We figured out it takes $45 with the system that we have right now to get someone from the devastation zone into safety. So if you want to help us get more people out, we would love if you'd partner and continue to support us getting these people out of these places and into safety. Again, thank you all so much for continuing to pray for us. Thank you all so much for continuing to have our back. Thank you all for your donations and your support. We're going to keep going with this. As longer term needs develop, we're going to do everything we can to continue to help the people who are hurting and displaced by this earthquake. So we would love your help to do that. Love you guys. Thank you again so much for all your support. This is going to continue to be a thing for a while, and so we need all the help we can get, and we are so thankful for having you guys behind us and supporting us. So love you guys. See you later.